Good morning, good morning, good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All right. Check 11111. Everything's running smooth this morning.
Smooth.
Let me speak too soon about it. My cousin Milo says, as soon as you say something good about something, it goes wrong. Not today. It's Friday. Yay, yay.
Yay, yay.
Give me a check, buddy.
Check 1 2. Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Like butter, baby.
Hot buttered soul. All right. All systems go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be the dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, and radio listeners. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, September 22nd, 2023, for a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Appreciate you coming on in so early with us. And, man, it is Friday.
This is true.
Uh-oh. Larry Keisha's in the chat. Hey, what you think, buddy?
A happy Friday, yo, yippee, yay, yo, yippee, yay, yay.
Yay. Okay.
How'd I do?
Did he get it?
Yay.
See, she gives us these kind of tongue twister challenges in the morning to get the muscles working in the jaws, ready to talking.
Blood flowing in the brain.
Pop says, good Friday morning and mad love, First Sky. Appreciate you, Pops.
Hey.
Meant to call you yesterday on got my sleep machine back. I got to talk to you about a couple things about it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's been going on with me a little while, man. It went away because of insurance, so I had to go redo it, reapply, do all these things. I finally got it in a couple nights ago, and finally feeling like I got some sleep in the past month.
Okay.
So that should help. We'll see what's up. Amy H. No Dot in the chat this morning. Good morning to you as well. We were just looking at your thing that you got coming up here. We'll be talking about it. It is Haps Friday, so we'll be talking about a lot of Haps today.
Yeah, man.
But Heart Ministry Center gets down. We appreciate you guys over there, and looking to do some more interviews over there. So we're looking to try to get down with you on that. We'll be in touch and can talk about some of these things that we can help. But were you turned down for SNAP because of felony on your record? We'd like to interview you. Yeah. And I love the way that you guys are handling these things too, making sure that things stay private, that when they want it private, and just all the respect that you guys got for people, and in general, man, the whole reason why this center exists, to help people out with and do it in a dignified way. So I just appreciate you very much, and appreciate you coming on as a chat chimer this morning as well. We'll definitely be talking. Larry Keisha's giving you a round of applause, buddy. I guess you got it.
Okay. Hey.
Shout out.
Yes. Thank you kindly.
Yep. Paul Phillips says, Brief Full Friday on fire. Okay. Tell us what this is about. What's going on here? What are we missing? Appreciate you coming on as well. YouTube is popping this morning. Let me see if we'll see if Facebook is acting right. But thank you all you YouTubers Please like and subscribe and all that stuff. I hate when people say it, but we got to say it. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell.
Oh yeah, tap in.
Yeah, tap in. I mean, that's what it's all about, really. It's just the tapping in. Don't matter how.
Man, well, I
Uh,
mean, it kind of does. We would like to reach that. It kind of does matter. We would like to reach that 500 mark on our YouTube. To try to keep this thing going and growing. I mean, there's a lot of things that we have not been able to implement and roll out and introduce to you all just based on pure capacity. I
yeah,
mean, yeah,
that's what's up.
yeah,
Yeah, and we always are putting out there. This is funded by us, you, and a couple of other entities that think we're doing some pretty good work. But there's ways that we can monetize what's going on too, especially like on the social media channels. That'll alleviate some of that financial stress as well. So, yeah, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. You're right, it does matter. Tell a friend. We definitely are gravitating towards YouTube. There's a lot more tools in YouTube in order for you to grow your business there. So we're
yeah.
definitely going to do that.
Also, kind of Paul and I talked about an ecosystem. Like we really love this and appreciate this community and learning more about what all of you have going on. And it's not just about, us expanding this, but we are honestly, talking about ways to help everybody and, platforms and what kind of support and what kind of partnerships and cooperations and how can we all grow as a community and help each other, live alive together. There's a few people in the chat that have podcasts and have just other things going on that we would definitely like to get involved with and think that it will elevate what we have going on here. So teamwork is still making the dream work, y'all. We're still looking to expand, to grow, and really appreciate and love the support we receive from all of you, especially Mayor Sanchez, man, coming in. He says use hashtags in the description part of your videos. Okay,
Yeah,
appreciate that.
man. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the work you do too, man. Mayor
Yeah,
Sanchez is
man.
on the squad for real.
Yeah, man.
Big time. Man. I love that too. The First Sky Family Squad is growing as well. So appreciate everybody.
Organically too.
Yeah, big time, man. Uh and well, first of all, let me jump into the chat. Everybody's saying Bree Full got down. There's a Paul Fimman says she put some fire and some hearts out there. Malik Rogers says Bree Full was on point at school board meeting. Paul Fimman says Bree stepped up to call out OPS board regarding failure to provide adequate funding. Bro, I wish we would have had a recording of that. That's what
Man,
we need right there. Wonder
big
if you can
time.
go back and see that. Yeah.
Big time. We do have the article though. We do have the article, so we will be talking about it.
Okay, so that's who the article was talking about. I was wondering
That's
who.
yeah. She's the one. As always, Chad Chimer's on point.
Always on point, man. So appreciate you joining us on Friday. It is Haps Friday. Get your haps together. We'll have an extensive haps later on. We'll attempt to have an extensive haps later on, like we say every week.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm also gonna kind of lace it throughout the show so we can make sure that we get everything out there. All the haps out there is really what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, it is Friday, and that's what we got to do. Um, Unfortunately, we do have there is some bad news here that we got to talk about, man. I don't know if you guys remember when when we were doing Mind and Soul, and even when we first started First Sky Omaha, the digital channel, we had a show on that was called Ghost Radio that was hosted by our friends Margie and LaRon, and we just found out LaRon passed away,
Man.
unfortunately. I don't know if you guys remember LaRon, but man, yeah, it was some devastating news. I put a picture of them in Friends of First Sky Omaha and said these are our day ones.
Yeah,
These
man.
are people that been with us for a while, and then I didn't know what happened until Margie came on and put it in the chat. But yeah, man, rest in peace, LaRon, bro. That was the brother
Man.
right there. That was the dude. Cool dude, deep thinker, very spiritual cat. And yeah, rest in peace, Ron, man. Shocker.
Man. Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's a picture. I didn't recognize. That's a picture of them with Huey in the back. That's that Malcolm X Memorial Foundation right there.
Yep. In the studio. I used to engineer their show and, cut and put it together for them. And they were just always a great team.
Yeah,
Always worked with us, always believed in the vision that we had for Mind and Soul. Was down. We had a lot of people try to help and come to the station, but they really, really stayed down and stayed through a lot of turmoil and some things, man. So we really appreciate Margie. Rest in peace to LaRon. Prayers goes out to his family. Man, yeah, that's heavy.
it's
That's
a
heavy.
shocker, man. Shocker.
Yeah.
one thing I'm thinking about right now, I'm really feel privileged that we have recordings of all of their shows from back in the day, man. You know,
Yeah, might have
be
to
able
run
to,
those back.
yeah, running back and hear how beautiful of a soul that brother was, man.
Yeah,
Real,
yeah,
yeah. So anyway, yeah, we just had to mention that, but there's a lot more things. Of course, we're going to talk about today, and some good headlines out there, and some
yeah.
things we can kind of dig deeper into that we didn't really get a chance to. Gwen Easter gives us a good morning. Appreciate you. Good morning to you as well. And yeah, lots to talk about today. What are we going to get into today, buddy? Might as well
Yeah,
start.
actually, as Sister Gwen Easter comes on, we kind of got into it towards the end of last episode, but want to spend more time on the conversation, looking at what's going on with the Omaha area early childhood programs. Again, what's going on with our child care providers? Really, not just in the Omaha area, but across the state. It is a statewide issue. As far as communities struggling to find adequate child care and childcare facilities struggling to find adequate employees. Again, it's very very hard to keep employees in their centers, as Miss Erica Felt even let us know when we had her on for her interview. So I'd definitely love to continue that conversation. Ms. Gwen Easter would love to hear from you on that topic. Also, big shout out to all the chat chimers out there who are active on the Friends of page. A lot of conversation going on there, a lot of stories being posted, and we're constantly skimming through that, trying to find what's going on. And it seems like some people found some very interesting information about the ARPA funds. We're still following the money in this season, and we'll definitely be talking about specifically the city, because there's some things that we have to clarify as far as ARPA goes. It's not just LB 1024, not just 531. It's not just the funds coming to North and South Omaha. There are a plethora of ARPA programs and funds out there. The city has some funds, the state has funds, the county has funds. They're all different pots. They're all going to different places. So yeah, we're going to talk about some of that today. We'd definitely love to hear your thoughts and feelings on that as well. Also, continuing on our school conversation, not just early childhood, but taxes. Omaha area school districts expect to cut property taxes a lot or a little. So we'll definitely be looking at what that is entailing as again taxes, man. There are changes. Actually, some homeowners in the chat have already received some notices about changes to their taxes, and there's actually public hearings going on this week to talk about that very thing. There was actually a Douglas County hearing yesterday, so kind of curious to see, or actually not yesterday but Wednesday. Kind of curious to see if anyone made it to that, if they have any takeaways, any notes. Would definitely love to hear your takes on that, or if you're just a homeowner who received that and has some questions or comments or concerns that you haven't been able to voice. Now will be a good time to do that. So again, definitely would love to hear from you on this issue of taxes going up. And there is apparently a law called the Truth in Taxation Law that requires some communication to be had, I would say, on this. So we'll definitely talk about that. And of course, a lot of you have already alluded to it, but frequent Omaha or first Sky Omaha viewer and chat chimer Bree Full is making headlines as she is now the sole board member voicing concerns about budgeting and OPS. So again, more school conversations going on. But of course, as always, if there's anything in your hearts and minds that we're not discussing, feel free to drop that into the chat. As always, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. And yeah, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Before we get started on the show, buddy, just want to know how you doing over there. How you feeling? What's going
Man,
on?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Kind of got out of the my daily schedule again before I came back to Omaha. I was telling y'all I'm getting into my meditation tip and working out and just trying to get better at my self-care. I'm a kind of person who, will feed the kids and not eat and take care of everybody else around me and kind of neglect myself. Like, keep telling myself I'm all right, I'm all right, but sometimes you're not. So
Yeah,
getting back into the swing of that, got some meditation in this morning, feeling good, feeling energetic. Definitely glad to be here as always, no matter what's going on in my world. It's always nice to be here and kind of talk with y'all and
yeah,
hang out and chill with y'all. So definitely glad to be here.
that's
Paul
good.
B, how you
Yeah,
doing, man?
I'm doing better now, man. Like I said, it's all about that sleep. I'm gonna tell you too. Your self care situation, get you some sleep, bro.
Man,
Prioritize that in a real
yes
way.
sir, yes sir.
It'll come back on you bad when you get older, man. I'm gonna tell all your business. When we were sitting at the George Clinton concert, Buddy was nodding off at the at the opening band. I was like, bro, you too young to be you too young to be sitting here nodding off.
Man, it was one of those bad nodding offs. Like I was trying to act like I wasn't nodding off. I mean, sorry.
I said, look, bro, if you doing this at
Oh,
30, then you in trouble, bro. You better start getting your sleep pattern together now for real.
man, yeah, yeah, it's real. It's real. I'll be honest. I can do better. I can do a lot better. A lot of burning the candle on both ends.
Yeah, yeah, it only lasts so long, bro. And let me tell you, and get nothing but worse. You can ask all the old heads around here.
Yeah, man.
Nothing but worse. Get you some sleep, bro. Especially the way that you grind all day long, man. You need that 8 to 10 for real. So,
Man, yeah. I move. Try to get. I'm kind of. I'm realizing I'm kind of a workaholic a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
A little bit.
But welcome to the journey and learning about yourself. And speaking of journeys, we're gonna take the journey here on this fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
Hey, let's start the show.
What up? What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Once again, First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B. the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of
Hey.
you chat channels, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for joining us over there on the radio, especially the 630 crew. Let us know how the mix was. Been doing a lot of thinking about this radio station over here, this digital channel that we got. Definitely check it out. There's going to be some things on it. We're going to grow that out as well. And just kind of, we've been reminiscing a little bit about the mind and soul days, man. We had a
Yeah.
lot of fun on the radio. I'd like to bring a lot of programs back for the digital age. So I'll be looking out for some growth there as well, which is the reason why we keep it rolling. But yeah, we definitely know that this is the main deal when it comes to First Sky Omaha is this discussion with you. So thank you for everybody that's joined into the chat. Please tell a friend, tell a friend. Do us a favor, share the show, especially if you're on Facebook. It's pretty easy to do. Excuse me, share the show on your page. And I believe there's an easy way to do it on YouTube that I won't be able to tell you, but somebody will help you out there. Mayor Sanchez says, hits the like button. 226 subscribers, lost one this season. Okay. First time I heard that report. Excuse me. But yes, we're trying to get up to the 500 mark so we can make a few changes on the YouTube page. So tell a friend, come over, like, subscribe, do all those things. And more importantly, we'd love to hear from you. So definitely chime into the chat. If you're a ghost listener, we appreciate you as well, just as much, man. As a matter of fact, every time we walk around town talking to folks, they tell us that they're a ghost listener. They tell us that they've been checking it out, and we keep on getting very surprised about who's listening.
Yeah, man.
Shows. Even the senators hit me up like, "Yo, I found out such and so was checking the show out." And yeah, that's significant. When you start getting people that you don't expect. So I'm approaching this thing now like everything we do and say here. People in the mayor's office, governor's office, everybody's checking us out. So
Man.
at some point, so I think we're doing really good work, and we can't do this work without you. And that good work involves us going over these topics, discussing them, and letting people know how we feel about them, telling
Yeah,
our
man.
own stories here.
Yep. That's what it's all about. Nobody's gonna tell your story like you. So again, let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. More importantly, chime into the chat. And even if you're a ghost listener, as Paul mentioned, continue the conversation with your loved ones. Let's spread the information, spread the awareness. Because as we kind of get deeper into this and learn more and more about it, the communication, man, there's a lot of things that fall through the cracks and fall by the wayside because of lack of communication. So open your mouth. Tell a friend and tell a friend, man. Let's have these conversations, even if it's a hard conversation. Let's go ahead and have it and be respectful.
Speaking of hard conversations, we had one with Brianna Full when she came on the show.
Man.
I got wind from people around town that they heard what she said, but it was hard to believe. Listen, Brianna Full is a leader. She is a young person, but she is a leader. And I don't even think about her age because she's out here making some moves. and pushing and doing some things. And she's a well respected person around here at First Sky Omaha. I
No,
feel
yeah.
like I hope so that when she's making moves like she just did at the school board, she feels like First Guy got her back. And I can't imagine she doesn't, because a lot of things I hear her say we've talked about here in a real way. So
Man.
I'd love to dive in, man. When I kind of skimmed over that article and didn't realize they were talking about her, and that's what's really up. So if we could, can we jump into that? And
Yeah, man. Let's go
yeah, I'd love
ahead.
to hear about.
Yeah, let's go ahead. It seems
Yeah,
like the chat
proud moment.
chimers are ready for that conversation as well. Paul Fallman again saying Beeee Friday. Also saying Bree stepped up to call out OPS board failures to provide adequate funding. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it, man. This report coming out of the Omaha World Herald. And man, Beeee standing alone, which isn't easy to do. That's definitely the big thing. It's one thing to speak up and speak power to truth, if you will. It's a whole nother thing to do it by yourself, to
Right.
be lone out there. But again, Beeee stepping up in the most recent public school board meeting. Beeee, Omaha board member, or Omaha Public Schools board member, voted no to several budget and property tax proposals that were approved during the meeting, saying a levy decrease is not in the best interest of staff and students this year. Beeee, again, the sole board member to voice concerns about the budget, says, yeah, the budget has increased to 1.25 billion and will offer a 1.4 cent levy, a decrease to property taxes. The OPS levy reduction is actually the smallest among all 11 Omaha area school districts, although OPS is the largest district. And although it is, again, the fourth straight year that the district has trimmed its tax rate. So this is actually a trend that has been going on for several years. Under their budget approved on Thursday, the owner of a house valued at $150,000 would pay about $1,800 in school taxes. Again, I'll repeat that. The owner of a house valued at $150,000 would pay about $1,800 in school taxes. That will be a reduction of about $21 or about 1% in the school portion of the property tax bill for that homeowner. However, if the valuation of the house has increased, which we've heard some have, next year's OPS levy, will likely result in higher property taxes. So again, taxes going in the wrong direction for homeowners. And Fool, who was elected in the 2022 election, represents Subdistrict 2 in North Omaha, and says the lower tax levy sends the wrong message about the district's needs. She says this decision to lower our levy sends a message to my community that says we're all good. We don't need to do anything differently. She also says it's not that we don't have enough certified teachers to hire, it's that teachers don't want to work in our district. We have to look at our issues in the face. And to that issue of certified teachers, again, teachers have not received a pay raise in their new contract. The amount of the 2023-2024 budget going towards staffing is roughly the same as last year, although, again, we've already talked about a mass exodus of teachers for these same exact reasons last year. However, that problem has not changed. Again, nearly 80% of um, the budget is going towards staffing. This is because there aren't as many staff to pay because of the district's ongoing staff shortage. Full also said the teacher base pay, which is about $45,000 a year and rises to roughly about $50,000 in the next 2 years, is still not enough. And she says we need to pay our teachers more, all of our staff members, really. There are professionals you can enter, or excuse me, there are professions you can enter a training program for 6 months and earn $75,000 off the bat. I'm talking about our police officers. We need to pay our teachers substantially more money. Also, board member Nick Thielen says that he appreciated Fool's opinion, but that he didn't agree, saying as we go forward and we see opportunity to use funds in ways that really help our students, I think we should do that. But I'm satisfied with this year's budget.
I would really love to know why so much satisfaction with this budget when you said, like you said, mass exodus of teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Not just exodus of teachers, but programs that have to get shut down, especially in our neighborhoods, like and bus our kids out to other places in order to try to get some kind of compensation for that those particular programs that are being lost, like the mental health stuff we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense. Tanaya Patterson in the chat says, well, seems many on that board support Keep Kids First, aka private school, and thus are in positions that are against the public good. And that's interesting to say that that's what it seems like is going on there when you're on the public school board. This really kind of really crazy. We've talked about these conflict of interests with some of the other with some people on the board, in the past. So yeah, it's interesting to me. I love hearing this. I love that the Omaha World Herald reported it
Mm-hmm.
as well, telling the truth about giving some examples about what people the feedback people are giving her, Miss Full, on what it is that she's talking about. We talk about her being the lone wolf there. She's the only one standing up saying that. Really, kind of only one representing these our neighborhoods. And
Yeah.
why is that always the case? Why is it always the person of color, the black person who is in the room that is the only ones advocating for North Omaha and acting like and everybody else acting like there's not a problem here. I don't understand that. Tonight Patterson says when the cost of living keeps going up, they're satisfied with monies devoted going down.
Mm.
Interesting. I have a question about this situation when they're talking about taxes, and because this thing started off talking about taxes, what happens with homeowners, exactly what that means. It sounds to me like when you said something about $1,700 is how much a homeowner at $150,000 house is going to have to pay, and a decrease would be a decrease of $21 out of that 1,700. Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, let me find that excerpt. So it says again, a owner of a house valued at 150,000 would pay about $1,800, 1,826 to be exact, which would be a reduction of about $21. So apparently, it was previously about 1,850. It seems closer to. So it looks like property taxes have gone down about $21 or just about 1%. And again, that's only in the school portion of the property taxes.
Hmm.
Um, for homeowners. But there is another article that is talking about how, that's moving because it's not just OPS. Apparently, all 11 school districts in Douglas and Sarpy counties are planning to cut their tax levy. So this isn't just an OPS issue. Appears to be an Omaha area issue altogether. But again, based on where you live in Douglas or Sarpy counties, then it's not a even move across the board. There are varying things based on what school district you live in and what happened this year to your own property evaluation. Because again, valuations in some areas are going up, so that could also impact your individual property taxes. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of moving parts to look out for. And as you alluded to, this is coming out of the state aid package that was pushed by Governor Jim Pillen and passed by Nebraska legislators earlier this year. Again, one of the main reasons schools are cutting their tax levies, funding for schools, including for special education costs. So, yeah, there's a lot of money moving and a lot of things happening, still trying to get a full picture of what's going on. But again, still agreeing with Bree Full as far as OPS. It doesn't seem like the math is mad thing, but now, it's definitely worth looking at the full picture of what's going on, not just in OPS, but across the state. A home valuation went up a lot this year. Again, maybe paying about 15% or more in property taxes, and actually could be paying a higher school property taxes even with lower rates. So again, a lot of moving things. But in particular, based on this article, let's say if you live in Omaha, looks like your property taxes will be going up about $15 from 1217 to 1231. Let's see what other areas. Gretna, it seems like their property taxes are going up actually a lot more, from 1363 to 1485, so about $100 or so dollars. Same thing for Bennington. So yeah, there's a few things to look out for as far as property tax movements.
Yeah. Jumping into the chat, Malik Rogers, good morning, says too many issues in Omaha affecting young people, school system, juvenile detention, crime, expulsion, you name it. Lots of problems going on in our areas as well. And definitely saying that you don't need more money for them is I don't think is the move. Marlon Harrison, good morning. He says, I wish that OPS would talk about the lack of health care in the schools. Currently, 14 schools in OPS don't have a school nurse.
Hmm.
I mean, it's really interesting. We could probably go down and make a huge list of some of the problems that are going on. Somebody probably has already, and to think that people are saying they don't need more money in the school district to tackle some of these things is really coming across as we don't care about we don't care about these problems, or it's not it's not. We've talked about many things when it comes to this school board, but when it comes to the OPS budget, first of all, saying they have a budget that's almost, I think it is bigger than the city budget. They're like a whole little city to themselves when it comes to the budget. There's a lot of money there, and there's a lot of looks on how that, a lot of people saying we need to look at how that's being spent. First of all, but
Hmm.
second of all, we talked to the senators and other people that have come in and said they've tried to give more money for the school board. The school board is not asking for it, or OPS schools are not asking for it,
Yeah, saying they're
and
fully funded.
they're saying they're fully funded. Here's Brianna Fool who's stepping up saying, if we're fully funded, why we have all these inequities and problems in our neighborhoods, and they're basically saying, good point, young lady. We don't agree though.
Man, yeah. Last year it was reported that there were close to like 250, 300 vacancies in OPS alone. Not just nurses, but cafeteria workers, janitors. Um,
Right.
man,
Security.
yeah, security, special
Um,
education teachers, bus drivers.
yeah, bus drivers, which there's a shortage of. Pops is saying we're only talking about down 1/10 of 1%. Tanaya Patterson said, and again, they would get a credit back on that at tax time. The budget should increase if truly interested in adequate funds supplied. Yeah, it seems like it's pretty clear cut. I don't. I think we probably are all on the same page with this. It seems really funny that we got all these inequities and problems and stuff, especially in North and South Omaha, especially in North Omaha in particular. And we got a representative in there that's saying, "No, I'm going to vote against decreasing this. We need more money here. Obviously we need more money here." She's looking at things. I mean, she's probably looking at the budget. She's
Hmm.
probably looking at all these things and coming up with, weighing it against what's going on in our neighborhoods and saying, no, we need to be paying teachers more. I mean, first of all, we can talk about that too. Anybody able to pay rent off $45,000 a year in Omaha? Is anybody able to do anything? Is we want to talk about living wages. How does that work?
And I appreciate Bree Fool's comparison. That's again compared to the police force, where you get a $75,000 bonus. I think she said for finishing your training program.
Yeah. Malik Rogers says Omaha Public Schools is planning on using student nurses to fill voids.
Hmm.
That right? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Why are there so many voids to have to fill? That's the real question. And then just this kind of overall attitude about teachers, about why aren't teachers getting the resources they need? We hear stories all the time about them coming out of their own pocket for supplies, so on and so forth.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, I'm saying a whole bunch of stuff that might dive us into a whole show's worth of conversations, because, of course, we all know that we have a lot to say about all this, and every time we start talking about this subject, the chat goes off and we go off all day. But really, like, the focus here is that there's a person in there that's fighting for it, which is Brianna Full. We understand where she's coming from and why. Definitely agree with her and got her back. And how do you persuade the other board members to understand what's going on here and maybe change up? And then there's that bigger question of how much power does the board even have in the first place? We're hearing that it's the administration that has the most of the power. They're the ones making the decisions in the end, and the board doesn't really control too much anyway, especially when it comes to the budget. They can make suggestions, but what happens there? Who's making the final decisions on that? Who's deciding that there's no more money needed and all that?
Man, I'm actually looking at the breakdown of the OPS budget for 23-24. It's actually a pretty accessible kind of graph, I guess you could say.
Hmm, okay,
Now,
I'll check it out.
literally, all I did was Google OPS Nebraska budget. And this is like the first link. Again, this is the general fund summary for 23 and 24. And as you can see, about 76% of the budget is going to instructional support, and about
Yeah.
65% of that is going to regular teachers. So I'm still like not seeing how, if most of your budget is going to teachers, how are you still not paying teachers enough?
Well, I mean, she gave us some numbers about what teachers are getting paid, and it doesn't sound like it's enough in the first place. Um, you
But
know,
yet they're saying they have enough money. Like,
yeah, but they're saying they have enough money, and so they're obviously saying teachers are getting paid enough. We're paying teachers enough, and I wonder if any of them are on, or that's what they're getting paid $45,000 a year. If you not have no intentions, and you said it in the article, they said it before, like this even last year, is everything has stayed the same as far as pay for teachers
mhm.
with teachers with the teacher shortage. There's new schools being built all over the place too, and some teachers are running to that, which leaves shortages in certain neighborhoods like ours. Um, we just talked about the mental health programs and teachers that don't exist anymore in 4 schools. Um, and what would be the incentive for people teachers not bailing out on certain areas?
Well, there's actually another article we have that's not just talking about schools, but talking about the whole early childhood education system, a
Mm.
whole crisis across the state. And in this article, it is there is a comment, or a reference is the word I'm looking for, to a survey that many teachers were given, and in the article it says that teachers apparently don't feel respected, and a lot of teachers are actually going across to Missouri to
Mm.
look for work. And this also coming out of the World Herald. Headline reads: Nebraska leaders discuss ways to address early childhood education crises. And again, this is another element to the whole conversation, because it's not just about, once you get into public schools, but what about before? What about, child care centers? I mean, it's really, when you kind of look at the totality of the issue, it's a big issue for our children. Like, what resources do they have? Are they really being set up for success, or are they being set up for prison? Let's just call it what it is.
Mm.
Again, education leaders urged a gathering of more than 500 people earlier this week to stop, quote unquote, admiring the problem. The meeting was called again by Buffett, our Early Childhood Institute, the conference's facilitator. Again, about 9 out of 10 Nebraska counties do not have enough childhood education providers. Again, that's according to data pulled by the Buffett Early Childhood Institute. The funding gap for providers also widen in the coming months as millions of dollars in federal pandemic funds are set to expire. So we'll be getting into a lot of the ARPA funds and where those went here in a second. But again, the point is the issue could be getting worse before it gets better. In Southeast Nebraska, there's a special education director for Auburn Public Schools, Shane Keeling, who says that he sees early childhood educators switching to districts across the Missouri River. As I mentioned, also Kathy Luther with Little Eagles Learning Center in Overton, Nebraska, says the center's funds are running dry and their vacancies are growing as most of their staff is still in high school. Kind of reminding me of, what Marlon just said in regards to student nurses going into the schools. Also, Heath Mello, president of Greater Omaha Chamber, said the chamber members have stopped expanding in certain areas of the metro because there is no access to childcare. Governor Pillen also spoke up at a conference saying community members need to talk about these problems more often in order to start creating solutions. So again, it seems like it's falling on community members more and more to try to figure out what to do with early child care, education. What's going on with schools. Several people have mentioned homeschooling programs and communities kind of flourishing. There's a lot as far as things falling on everyday individuals and trying to, again, educate and steer our youth in the right direction.
Yeah, there you go. Jumping into the chat, a lot of people got a lot to say. Good morning to Miss Erica Felt. She says Missouri schools are notorious for being disgusting, so that says a lot about us.
Mm.
Von Chapman gives us a good morning. He says, "Good morning. Taxation without adequate community representation appears to be an ongoing, intentional problem." Where's Ricky Smith? Good question. We'll try to get him on still. Malik Rogers says Omaha Public Schools is planning to use student. Oh, that was talking about student nurses there. Also, Tanai Patterson in the chat says when you plan on making a big unnecessary purchase, school choice, you start skimming from the actual needs to offset the unnecessary purchase. It's an interesting comment. I wonder what so school choice. You're saying that they're skimming off the top of actual needs and they're talking about how is this making an unnecessary purchase? School choice. Are you implying that the school district is trying to peel off money for that? Let me maybe understand what you mean there. Ms. Erica Felt says, I was on a Zoom last night with National Association of Family Child Care. Nebraska is perpetuating the child care crisis. Interesting.
So it's intentional.
Miss Tanai Patterson says the budget include pensions. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
The OPS budget?
Yeah, teachers. Budgets does it include pensions for teachers? Von Chapman says these children are being set up for failure by OPS, and that feeds into the pipeline of prison issue. Ms. Erica Felt says in Colorado they are building houses specifically for in-home child care businesses. In California, the law states landlords can't discriminate against in-home child care. They discriminate hard here. Malik Rogers says, so why are we still funding all these non-productive organizations in Black Omaha? Pop says teachers are not respected in general. They all need to be paid like athletes are because their work is far more important and impactful. It shows how screwed up our values are. Hear that. Malik Rogers talking about the annual report, saying the school district is failing. Just look at the annual reports. I mean, especially in our neighborhoods, is what we keep going back to, especially with kids of color, which is 70-80% of the kids in OPS, and Omaha being the biggest area for this. Tamika Johnson says intentional indeed. Preschool to prison pipeline is real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with Pops too about teachers not respected in general. This is the problem not just in our area, but in all the areas, especially public schools. I mean, you hear this about public school systems all over the place. They are notorious for not paying teachers enough. You hear stuff all the time about teachers coming out of their own pocket to buy supplies, and so on and so forth. It really does have to do with the situation of a lot of their money coming from property taxes. And so if you're in neighborhoods where people don't own a whole lot of property, or the property is valued a certain way, you're just gonna not get the resources. But again, for us, that's not an issue. We've heard from several people about money trying to throw money at OPS, and OPS is acting like they don't need it. What's that say about values in general overall? North Omaha doesn't need extra help. Teachers don't need to get paid more. Why in the world do you turn down funds?
It's a good question. And according to this article, it is interesting when we talk about paying teachers more. How much more are we talking? There apparently has been a survey from the Buffett Early Childhood Institute. The president of that is quoted in this. Walter Gilliam, not president, but executive director of Buffett Early Childhood Institute, says that they have collected data to paint a picture of the story behind staff turnover in early childhood education. Gilliam presented preliminary results from a survey of more than 25,000 providers around the U.S., including about 127 here in Nebraska. And many results revolve around reasons why providers have left early childhood profession. One popular answer in Nebraska is the lack of respect. Again, Gilliam said because of the obstacles like the state's political climate, teachers and the education profession are often viewed in a negative light. He says, I hear stories from teachers about how they feel they are perceived from the community As a former public school teacher, I would have never dreamed that teachers would feel the way they feel now in their communities. In a survey, well, 13% responded that they plan to return to the field, which is slightly actually higher than the U.S. average of about 10%. So, again, not a lot of turnover of early education providers and teachers. Again, 13% isn't a lot. And besides a bump in base pay, the survey did convey that some educators would have stayed in the field if they received a retention stipend. About 13% said they would come back with a $500 stipend, and that jumped to about 30% when that stipend went up to about 15 to 2,000, which is something that we did see OPS, um, you know, toy with as far as a stipend.
Mhm.
But again, that didn't seem like that was something that was going to be ongoing. Didn't seem like that was going to be something that really, would have really stuck. Just seemed like kind of a last minute, one time ploy. Um, but again, it is very interesting to hear the feedback from teachers, which we haven't heard much from. I will say in this whole conversation, haven't heard much from teachers, and as far as I understand, the same sentiment that we've been hearing over the last couple of years, as far as fear of retaliation, is a real thing. There were definitely a lot of teachers speaking up about fear of losing their job, losing their benefits, just being retaliated against. Out of fear of speaking up. So again, what is going on with the teachers? Would definitely love to hear more from them, but that doesn't seem like really a case.
There you go. Appreciate everybody's comments on this issue. We'll definitely keep talking about this issue. Shout out to Brianna Full, who's trying to stand up here on a lot of things. And yeah, we really appreciate it. We're going to jump to the chat real quick. Miss Erica Feld is saying there's a feeling that is intentional. However, it may just be a true disrespect of women, especially women of color, who
Mm,
own the majority of in-home child care business across the country. She was talking earlier about the child being discriminated against in child care. Also, Tamika Johnson said intentional indeed. We already said that. Malik
hmm
Rogers says our area probably has the most philanthropy dollars compared to others, and we are still doing the worst. Make it make sense. That's what I'm thinking too when I'm hearing these studies that we're talking about are coming like from the Buffett Institute, which is going to be definitely philanthropic kind of situation there,
hmm
and especially with the early child care. We've been hearing from our early child care experts about how these kinds of institutes are coming in and running
Taking
out.
over.
Yeah, taking over definitely. Ms. Erica Pell says Head Start enrollments have been decreasing over the years in Nebraska. Any idea why? He's asking Ms. Erica felt that. Tonight Passion says tax money going to private schools would pull from the general pool, and when withdrawing money to something not previously an expense, I can't imagine them not trying to skim from other areas to help pay for it. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, and don't get me wrong. If I'm not sure about something, that don't mean nothing. I'm probably, I'm still learning, but I'm not. But if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that this is them, with a lot of people being proponents of private schools that they're skimming money from public school to pay for that. Am I understanding that correctly? I don't want to put words in your mouth. Let me know if I'm understanding that correctly. Miss Erica Phelps is talking about the program has problems of racial stereotypes attached to it. So the funding and expand so the funding to expand and partner would be a address to would be to address this, correct? They're having a conversation there about some of the things that's going on with the early child care there. So yeah, so let them work that out. I appreciate you guys talking to each other as well in the chat. Definitely work out some of the things and get to some facts so we can definitely all learn from it. Yeah. Anyway, we'll definitely have to have Miss Full on again and talk about her experience uh, standing up by herself on this particular issue. And yeah, it's pretty deep. It goes deep. It goes
Oh
deep.
yeah.
Always is a weight on our neighborhoods, on our shoulders all the time. Seems like to me.
Yeah, yeah, and again, it's not just Omaha, but I do want to paint the picture that it is a Nebraska issue. It's not just Omaha. It seems like across the state. Again, the people, the community members are forced to figure out their own answers because it doesn't seem like the government issue or the government department is doing what it's supposed to. again, we're talking about public schools. This is public. This
There
is
you go.
part of the government, and it seems like again it's an issue that we have to figure out ourselves.
We'll definitely keep reaching out to Ricky Smith. See, we can have him on answer some questions. I think we also need to figure out who we can speak to in administration,
Man,
because that we're finding out exactly like how much power the board has compared to the administration, and probably need to talk to somebody there who's the person over there making the decisions. So all this is all public knowledge. Of course, you can go to the OPS website and find out all this. I was looking at it earlier myself, seeing who's on the board, how many departments they have, how many jobs they're putting out there to have, how many administration jobs, how many teacher jobs.
hmm
There's a lot of things that you can learn from definitely checking out the OPS website and trying to pick apart some of the things there. Uh, Definitely some good questions and some good things to think about. 7:50 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let's go ahead and take a quick break,
hmm
and we'll come back and possibly switch gears depending on where you guys are at on this. But thank you for everybody that's joined in on this chat, this conversation, and again, shout out to Brianna Fool for doing her thing in a big way.
Man,
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Yay, Friday. It's going down. Yeah, let's try that again. Here we go. Be right back, yeah. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
The Diaz is going down. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Oh, shout out to, I call myself Paul B, the Dove these days. And shout out to Trugoy the Dove. He passed away last year. Yesterday was the anniversary of that.
Man, it's been a year already.
In a year already, man, from the legendary group De La Soul. Yeah, that's unfortunate. They were about to go on tour. They were about to go on tour. So that's one of the most influential hip hop groups of all time. We're still in 50th year of hip hop, still celebrating
Man,
all that good stuff. And so yeah, man, gotta give it up to the original Dove, True Goy. Let us know, man. You know, we kind of fell off the ball here on that 50th year of hip hop stuff. We kind of put out there a while ago, like, what's your favorite hip hop album of all time? You know, we put some things out there earlier in the season and didn't really continue to talk about that. So we can keep putting that out there. Who's your top five? Who's your favorite group of all time? You know, give us some feedback on how hip hop affected your life, and you know how you lived in it, whatever age group that you're from. What did it mean? What did it mean to you? Love to hear some feedback from you on thoughts on that 50th,
yeah, man.
50th anniversary, man. Who'd have thought we'd have 50 and 60-year-old rappers still out here doing it?
Still doing it. Still doing it. Actually, they just opened up a 50-year museum down here in Atlanta at the Underground. Again, acknowledging a lot of the legends and the OGs. I think Dallas Austin and my man New Face are behind this, putting it together, kind of curating. They've been having events and things like that. So yeah, the celebrations are still definitely going strong.
Love that. Love that. Mayor Sanchez in the chat saying Above the Rim soundtrack. Man,
Okay.
That's a deep cut. You ever heard that one, buddy?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm proud that you mentioned that one, man. That's one that a lot of people would not mention, but there was some incredible gems on that soundtrack for real.
Yeah, and
There was an era in the '90s when the black movie soundtracks was the best thing on the radio in a real
man,
way.
yeah,
Above the Rim was definitely one of them.
Space Jam soundtrack.
Ooh, deep cut, deep cut.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is Haps Friday. Please get your haps together. We'll definitely be talking about. We got lots to go through. This show for sure.
Mhm.
Our partner, somebody that we've had on the show before, man, Andrew Joy Pearson, who is a super powerhouse out here in our area, is doing some great things. She got a sound bath experience going on as she's
Mm.
leaving. Yeah, it's going down. Featuring music by Shamari. That's what's up. A portion of the ticket sales for this donated to Blackburn Alternative High School. So doing the good work. We're trying to raise some funds for good causes. This is happening September 26th. This is coming up. What is it?
This on what, Tuesday?
Creative
Monday?
House? Yeah, I'm not sure. Um,
Tuesday. It's coming up next Tuesday.
I'm talking about time and dates. You know, I don't know nothing about that. 7 to 9. You can scan the QR code or it looks like it's to snag your ticket. Okay, anywhere else you can go on that if you don't do the QR thing? We'll have to ask her about it. About time we had her back on too to talk about some of the stuff
Yeah.
going on around town for sure. But definitely check it out. I don't know if you ever experienced like the sound bath before, with the quartz bowls and so on and so forth. But very relaxing. We talk about self care. This is you don't just go get massages on the body, but you get massages in the brain and in the spirit.
Man,
And that's what this does. This kind of thing does too. It's interesting, man. Sometimes just sitting there in quiet, focusing in on a sound can ease your mind, ease the tension.
vibrations, man. Vibrations heal.
Big time heal. So get your halves together. We'll have an extension of halves, of course, later on in the show, but we'll feature some throughout the show just in case we don't we get in conversation and don't get there the way that we usually end up doing, running past. So we'll try a new thing today and kind of intersperse some things throughout there. Don't forget about AfroCon 2023. I already put this in the break, but AfroCon's happening. It's October 7th. Get your costumes together now.
Man,
It enhances the AfroCon so much more when you're in costume. It's already a situation where they're taking you into another world, making space to dream, especially for Black folks. That's what this is for. AfroCon is happening October 7th at Metropolitan Community College, Fort Campus, 9 to 7. I think this is her fourth year.
man, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I want to say it's been going on since before the pandemic.
Yeah. So
So
I would definitely say get your tickets now and start working on your costumes. That's the best, the most important thing too, man. Really, listen, you can help enhance this whole show, man, and you can take you to another world. You don't even be feeling like you're in Omaha sometime when you're walking around
man,
this thing. AfroCon gets down. Put it on your calendars for sure.
yeah. Show up and
Uh,
support. Bring the
you guys,
babies.
yeah, support the babies. This is definitely, but this is also it's not even just for babies. It's for grown folks, for families. For families. They got lots of booths set up at AfroCon.
Yeah.
You can buy merchandise from artists and vendors all over the place. Food. I mean, it's a whole thing. And the costume contest is the big deal. So
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely get that up. Lots of stuff going on in the chat right now. We can jump back in that if you
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go ahead.
guys want to. Let's see. Vaughn Chapman says, "Will AI be implemented in OPS to address teacher shortages? If so, expect our pre-programming of school curriculums will probably be exclude CRT."
Oh yeah. I mean, they trying to exclude it with the teachers.
Man, they talked about that too. AI learns from what everybody is talking about and doing on the internet. And if you got a whole bunch of people against CRT, that's going to be a factor too. If they were using that,
Hmm.
I can see them doing that to ease the load of some teachers. They're going to be using AI. We know a lot of people, including us, use Chat GPT right now on some things. And so what's that really going to mean? You still got to, it's still a tool. So you still have to have somebody to wield that tool, and there's still a very big issue on what's going to get taught and what's not going to get taught. And then of course they're making a lot of people are making moves to make sure that they are supporting a certain point of view
Oh
on
yeah.
there continuously. Tonight Patterson says the state is not proposing a tax increase to pay for school choice fund 25 million or 100 million that would be set up. So it would have to come from other areas or increase the budget or dip into any reserve. The state is not proposing a tax increase to pay for the school choice fund, 25 million to 100 million, that would be set up. So it would have to come from other areas or increase the budget or dip into any reserve. Hmm. Okay, we definitely gonna look into that more. Need more input on that. She said,
Mhm.
and increasing the budget goes against the Fiscally Conservative Act, and that's why school choice would indirectly affect the money that OPS does get. Because there will always be attempts to balance by adding and subtracting tax money from other established expenses. This is true. This is true. So even though we were saying, that money is not coming from OPS in order to fund these private situations, there is that notion that we do also see money getting shifted from here and there. If that's the case, if people that's what the fear is that they're going to do a whole bunch of shifting around in the ways that they do, then I can understand why that might be a fear. That might be something that might happen. This is why school choice would be indirectly affected. That would indirectly affect the money that OPS does get. Yeah.
I could see that if people, I a little skeptical about that point because I don't know how many people living in the area surrounding OPS will be donating to this.
Mm,
Again, we're talking about upwards of 25 to 100 million dollars.
mhm.
Um, how many people that will actually be donating to these private schools and therefore receiving the tax credit will live around these schools?
Mm,
I'm kind of under the impression that most of the property owners who live around OPS schools, in the Benson area, um, how many of them will actually be donating to these private
mm,
schools? How many of them will actually be receiving this tax credit?
mhm.
I'm kind of thinking along the lines that most of the people who live around OPS, most of the people who are paying property taxes towards, properties that again go towards OPS schools will continue to pay those property taxes and probably not, again, this is my opinion, but probably not be donating to those because we've already talked about it. Again, who will be benefiting? Who will be taking advantage of these? Are there, what areas in North and South Omaha are prepared to build more private schools? Where will we see those more of those private schools? Will they be in kind of more West Omaha?
I mean, that seems to be the pattern everywhere else. That's kind of the argument. Seems to be the pattern everywhere else. So once again, yeah, let's table this and come back. We'll definitely check it out. We're in the second hour now, 8:02. If you believe in the concept of time, second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Appreciate you guys
Yeah.
hanging with us through all this, and these helping us to really kind of think these things out. This is this
Mhm.
this is what I love about this group and everything that's going on here. We're able to really put some notions out there that gets us thinking about this. Who else is doing some thinking around here? but the chat chimers and ghost listeners, I appreciate you guys very very much. Jumping out of that for a second, man, because I'm still going down the list here, but it seems that we touched on something that people want to talk about a little bit too, man. 50th
Yeah.
50th anniversary of hip hop. It is also happening right now. Sean McCarthy got a great quote. He says, "As a white Gen Xer metalhead, heavy metal bands like Anthrax got me into Public Enemy, which got me into De La Soul. Man,
Okay.
however you got to get there, that's what's up."
Man, as long as you got it. As long as you got it.
Mama Guy said, I sent the soundbar post to some of my girls. Hate that I will miss that. Love her energy. Who you talking about?
Talking about Andrew Joy Pearson, the
Oh,
sound bath and
Sound
healing.
Bath. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's a thing. It's a thing. I love that Andrew Joy Pearson is doing it too. I mean, my
Yeah.
my experience with sound baths and stuff up there is like hippie white girls in Hawaii doing it. So like I'm glad to see our culture picking some things up and understand. I mean, we the ones understand about vibe in a big way anyway.
Mhm.
So that's interesting that there's these tools of vibe that are happening that our people are trying to take advantage of now too, man, and really kind of use and introducing people to some things. So I love seeing it.
Yeah.
Marlon Harrison says, when it comes to the 50th anniversary of hip hop, I hate how female rappers have been getting left out of the conversation.
Big time.
I mean, are they getting left out of the conversation?
Um, I feel like I'm seeing them more and more, but kind of towards the early parts of the year, yeah, I wasn't hearing much about the ladies.
Really? I
Yeah,
felt like
but I'm seeing
Center
more.
Teeth
I'm
been
seeing
in there since the jump on some of these celebrations and stuff, and been featured in these celebrations. There's not a lot of women in hip hop, especially in the last 50 years in general. You know what I'm saying? And then, and then you got your Queen Latifahs and your MC Lights and everybody that everybody knows. But one of my top five is Bahamadia. I ain't heard much from her
hmm.
about her. You know what I'm saying? So there's some other one. There's some Jean Grey. I mean, I can name some that ain't getting really a lot of recognition too. So maybe you're right on that. Yeah, love to hear more about some. I'd love to hear more about female rappers in general, man, and what's going on. Especially and the other thing is that this is kind of the era of female rappers right now. They dominate
Yeah.
hip hop right now, anyway. So
Young littles. Yeah, definitely out here dominating as far as the women, and even in my circles as a DJ. Like, we every Monday I'm at New Music Monday, seeing multiple up and coming artists, even active sign artists performing, and yeah, the women are killing it. The women are usually outperforming the men, as far as hip hop goes nowadays. But as far as the legends and the 50-year anniversary, I am seeing, like, the Gangsta Boos and the Mia X's
mm,
getting some love out there. So yeah, it's out there. It's
yeah.
out there.
Not enough is what brother Marlon Harrison's saying, and I agree. Rome's reviews, Miss Mayor Sanchez says Ice T is the pillar of hip hop, one of the first MCs to be on the big screen that MCs wanted to emulate after that breaking 1984 pillar. Yo, I just watched a documentary on Boogaloo Shrimp,
Hmm.
who was one of the break dancers in the breaking movies back in the day. Did not know that brother actually did teach Michael Jackson how to do the moonwalk.
Really?
Actually taught him how to do the moonwalk. Told the whole story about Michael calling him, and also Poppin' Taco, also a legend in the scene from back in the day. Boogaloo Shrimp and Poppin' Taco went to Michael Jackson's studio and taught him how to pop, lock, backslide, all the
Yeah.
stuff back in the day. And also, he talked a lot about the legacy of the breaking movies, and how and they even interviewed the cat that had the big club back in the day where that breaking movie and everything was based on. And Ice T was doing all the early rap and all the early DJing,
Mm.
and then they just went ahead and brought him over to the movie. And then in the first breaking movie, you see Ice T in there doing his thing. And so, yeah, pillar of hip hop for sure, especially on the West Coast, man, in a big way. He's been doing things forever, ever. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Also, speaking about the rock connection, Ice T.
there you go. Pop says I love Mia X. Okay, all right, Pops, that's what's up. Appreciate everybody who's joined in on that situation on the 50 years of hip hop. Let us know how you were affected, what groups you love, your top five. And we'd love to know anything about that. Definitely want to pay close attention to that, man. The culture of hip hop is what is made up the communities nowadays, man. Especially the communities of color, mixing, just community in general. It's like
Mhm.
it's coming from a community of color, and then it's spreading across the world, and it's making hip hop is like a whole nother race almost.
It's a culture, man. It's a
It's a
nation.
whole culture, but it's a nation for real. So appreciate that very much. Also, jumping in the chat, Von Chapman says the Mexican American community in South O is very unhappy with the selection of the new city councilman for South Omaha, and has voiced their displeasure.
Hmm.
Yeah, we definitely saw that. I saw that in an article earlier. Didn't bring that up. We didn't really talk too much about who got appointed in that seat, and then who's speaking up on that. But I have talked to Tony Vargas a little while back, and we talked about him coming on the show. I'd love to hear from him about
Hmm.
what's going on in the community there as well, and some other folks in the community that we would love to bring on the show and talk about what happened with that appointment and so on. It's an interesting dichotomy over there. Also, Kimra Snipes also hips me to this all the time too. There's black folks on the South Side. It's heavily Latino on the South Side. But there's also, the white folks that have been there, the legacy white families that have been in South Omaha from
Mhm.
before, in the beginnings of the uh, slaughterhouses and everything that's happened there. They're still there too. So it's interesting to
Yep.
see. But what's the demographic? It's a good question to find out. What's the demographic over there? Because this is kind of par for the course when you got a white person who is now their district is full of people of color, and now you got to kind of watch what they're if they're listening to their constituents or not. And it sounds like Latino people are a little skeptical about that, and not knowing what they, not happy with the choice. So
hmm and again, this is a council member who's replacing former councilman Vinny Palermo after his legal issues. And I'm kind of curious: is this a situation where he was selected? I don't.
I think they
So
voted in. I think.
no, he was appointed. This is appointment. So yeah, this is a situation where the people voicing concern did not have a opportunity to speak up at all. Again, he was actually unanimously appointed, winning with a 6-0 vote in the third ballot. Councilman Brinker Hardy said that Ron Hug, who is the gentleman who again is appointed to the position, emerged as the consensus candidate out of 12 applicants, five of whom were interviewed by other council members. So this was definitely an internal process, and yeah, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant by the vote. There was a vote there that they had. There was a couple candidates. We had reported on a few candidates, some of them in the Republican
hmm
Party that were people were worried about. But yeah, the public didn't get any real say on this. It was voted in by those. You said it was a unanimous six vote.
6-0,
Yeah.
6-0 vote. So everybody on the board apparently felt like he was the best decision, for whatever reason. So again, he is the new South Omaha representative on the city council. And to your point of legacy families, apparently, according to this Omaha World Herald article, Hug's South Omaha roots stretch back 4 generations. Apparently, he calls the area, which has historically attracted immigrants and was annexed by Omaha in 1915, a welcoming community.
Interesting. Rick Fulton in the chat saying that his family's from South High. He said my mother went to South High. He says that Ron Hug will be fine. All he has to do is vote the way the oligarchs in Omaha big business Tesla go.
Mm.
hmm Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is the reason why Latino population out there is very nervous about this appointment, this person. But well, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. I mean, and more importantly, I'd love to talk to somebody from the Latino community to voice, to tell us exactly what their problem, their concerns are. It'd be interesting to see.
hmm
So jumping back a little bit into the conversation that we were having about women in hip hop, I'm very interested in this chat right now. Pops, like I said, he says I love Mia X, which I didn't expect. Miss Erica Fell says conscious daughters, bringing up some old school. Also,
Okay.
Sha Rock, who's the first female rapper ever that hit the scene. She said Sha Rock had me calling myself Sha Red for a couple of years. That's what's up.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. Also, Tamika Johnson said, "Lady of Rage." Can't forget about the Afro Puffs. Also, let's see who else said something here. Uh,
Man, Lady Ray still doing it. She was recently on stage
was
here.
she?
Yeah. Snoop brought her out.
Man, that's what's up.
Yeah, Snoop and Wiz on tour, and
Marlon,
Lady Rage did her
man,
thing.
that's what's up. I'm glad she's back. Marlon Harrison says, "I grew up listening to female rappers Eve, Trina, Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, Nicki Minaj, Missy Elliott. Yeah, we're leaving a whole lot out. We're definitely leaving a whole
Yeah.
lot out. But that's what's up. Yeah, yeah, I can see what you're saying now. In the celebration of the 50 years of hip hop, they tend to go back to the early days, the inception days, which was
hmm
mostly male. But yeah, we're in several eras now. We even have a golden era in hip hop now. Now that we're 50 years old, so yeah, you can't leave out everybody's contribution. Nicki Minaj changed the game,
Oh yeah.
and so did Lil Kim at one point too. A lot of things, a lot of big shifts happen with female rappers, and I will put out there again that UNITY is one of the my top 3 hip hop songs of all time. It
Classic.
is to me, it is the epitome of hip hop. The attitude, the beat, the rhyme, the subject matter, everything. When people say what does hip hop sound like? UNITY is where I send them.
Man, that's a great example.
Great example. Thanks for everybody who's joining into the chat. Tell us about what's going on here. Pop says I knew about Michael and his moonwalk training, which made me not nearly as impressed when he did it. I knew he didn't originate it, and the artist who did originate it was never recognized. Getting recognized
Hmm.
now. That's Boogaloo Shrimp, straight up. Yeah,
Man.
he's getting his props right now for that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Shabba-Do, who was the other breaker in the Breaking movie, was interviewed by our own Houston Alexander, and
Yep.
right before he died, like right before he died, is one of the last interviews he did. Was out here in Omaha, and then he passed away. So I was happy to see Boogaloo Shrimp still rolling, still talking about what happened and giving us some insights on back in the day and everything else. And he's a trip. But Boogaloo Shrimp has always been my favorite breaker of all time. I definitely patterned all my moves after him back in the day. Yeah, he
Okay.
was dope. He was dope, man. He was something else. He was something else. He was,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's still teaching. He's teaching this day. So shout out to Boogaloo Shrimp for real. But shout out to everybody who jumped in on this too, man. We got to. Oh yeah, that's right. You talking about You talking about Shabba-Do? He passed away of COVID. He was talking and looking just fine 2 days prior, and then went
Mm.
to the hospital and passed away. That's right. I remember that now. Yeah.
Man.
Miss Erica also says Miss LA is going through it right now. That's too bad. Miss LA was one of my favorites back in the day too. So yeah, I appreciate everybody that's sharing that with us, man. A little lighthearted conversation about how hip hop affected you, who you like in hip hop, women in hip hop. Glad you guys stepped up on talking about that. That's what's up. Really appreciate that very much. 8:16 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, and chat's going off. Lots to talk about when we are talking about these particular subjects. Very touchy subjects, especially for the chat, man. We got to we're understanding that people have very strong feelings when it comes to what OPS is up to, and like the senators come on and talk about it all the time. There's a lot of things that are failing our
Hmm.
kids, man, failing our kids in a big way. So you can't help but feel emotion on that, especially during a week, a time frame when there's more shootings, more people, young kids getting caught up. It's a shame. It's really a shame, and it really kind of the school system really has a lot to do with it. So
Yeah. And just opportunities. I mean, just what else do the children have to do out there? What kind of jobs can they get? Like what do they have to do really?
very true, very true. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and jump into some more subjects here. We got a little bit more time left. Remember, this is Haps Friday, so get your haps together. Love to hear what it is that you think that we need to be checking out as well, especially with the weekend coming up. Lots of stuff happening. It's gonna be rainy. It's rainy today. It's gonna be probably a rainy weekend, but that doesn't stop us. Don't Omaha don't they come out? I don't care if it's snowing and all kinds of craziness. They be out. So this ain't gonna
Yeah.
stop nobody from being out this weekend. So definitely let us know what you're gonna be doing. We'll take a quick break and come back. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the
Paul
DS.
B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all.
Hey.
Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the
I'll be
morning.
Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers. I'm glad you guys are here on a Friday. This is Friday, Haps Day for sure. Yeah,
Man.
definitely. appreciating everybody that's joined in on that. Let us know what's going on this weekend, what it is that you think we need to be checking out. I heard Malik Rogers earlier say about being at a what was it what was it, a mayor's meeting, something like that. Let us know again. There it is. He said, make sure y'all show up to the mayor's upcoming town hall meetings. Okay, yeah, we will try to make sure that we do that. If we don't, maybe you can do that too. Let us know what's going on if you can make it as well. We're definitely trying to work on some ways that we can get more of these meetings documented.
Hmm.
Dare I say broadcasted even? We need to try to figure out what we can
Man,
do on that. So
especially with documenters taking a break.
yeah, especially with that. Especially with that. Yes, Miss Erica Felt, you saw that, right? It is Michelada Fest coming up in collaboration with the Midwest Chigona Fest, which is another festival
Okay.
that's happening that's coming up as well. Can't wait for that. We talked about that too, but this is on October 7th at Exarban Village from 12 to 8. So if you like a michelada, you know what micheladas is, our buddy?
Um, kinda. It's like isn't it like beer and tomato juice or something like that.
Yeah, pretty close, pretty close. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's up. Chamoy, Chamoy. There's all kinds of stuff that's going on here. That's very, very Mexican centered, treats and eats and drinks. Again,
Fuego gummies.
in congestion, Fuego gummies. In congestion, the Midwest Chigona Fest is happening October 7th. So this is all going down at the same time. We'll be able to have a good time celebrating Mexican culture there. This is, of course, at Stinson Park, our Xarban Village, which is turning out to be like Switzerland. Like it's like the world field with
Man.
all the different things going on. There's Mexican culture. We just had Afro Fest, so lots going on. But yeah, mark your calendars if you're interested in this. October 7th, 12 to 8 p.m. is going down. Midwest Chigona Fest is happening. This is a lot of market calendar stuff going on, but there's also a lot of things that are happening coming up very soon as well. According, of course, like this is something that Amy H.
Mm.
Somebody in our one of the chat chimers is helping put together. This is Hoops for Life Native Basketball Tournament happening November the 12th. Another calendar thing you can mark down.
Okay.
There's some contacts there. No entry fee. You can register for free there. There's a scan you can do that, or you can hit up Travis at tcantu at nuihc.com. So definitely check that out. See what's going on there. 12th annual Hoops for Life. I'm hoping to have somebody on to talk about this. So guest speakers, raffles, and this is for grades 3rd through 12th.
Okay.
Interesting stuff happening around town, man. For real.
Hoops for the babies.
Baby hoops. Baby hoops. That's what's up. That one was laughing at you saying tomato juice. I like
So
that.
is it not tomato juice? What is it? Is it tomato paste?
It's definitely not tomato paste. Ms. Kimberly Snipes says, I'm trying to get to all these town halls. I appreciate that. Good morning to you as well. Definitely appreciate that. Let's talk offline about how we can help you do that for some of these, especially for some of these things that you're trying to make that we can all make. Tahine, yeah, thank you, Mayor Sanchez. Still thinking about this Michelada Fest going on. Rose, yeah, just appreciate everybody that's joining in, man. I love talking to y'all in the morning for sure.
Definitely.
Let us know about the Haps though. Let us know about what you got going on. I'm not seeing many people saying what they're doing this weekend, so let me know. Let me
Yeah,
know.
what's going on in your world?
There you go. Malik Rogers, of course, is bringing up what's going on here in our neighborhoods. Still appreciate that. Shame community groups not speaking on recent youth violence. Northwest High supposedly had gun-related drama yesterday.
Hmm.
Yeah, not hearing much about that. So
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
of the reasons why we need a news desk so that we can kind of talk about our own headlines. Can't always depend on what Omaha Rural Herald is going to say or anybody else for that matter. So we're steady behind the scenes trying to work on that. News desk work with people like Terry Sanders over there at the Omaha Star. There's things that we need to try to do in order for us to be able to talk a little bit more deeper about the things that are actually going on in our neighborhoods. What would be headlines for us is a
Yeah.
little different. It's going to be headlines for other people. So
Yeah. And I am wondering, with some of these gun incidents that have been happening in the community, how much of this is related to the shift in gun laws recently. Again, we'll definitely have to keep our eyes on that as time moves forward.
there you go. Kimber Snipe says it's birthday pre-weekend for me. All white party at Immortal Souls.
Okay,
Kimber's getting ready to do it big. That's what's
man, birthday month.
up. Von Chapman says solidarity at the mayor's town hall should be just as robust as Mexican communities demonstrated displeasure with the Omaha City Council.
Mm.
Like that. We need to keep on talking about that because we absolutely agree. We need some solidarity. We need to be getting together, and the more numbers that we have on being on the same page, we'll move the needle if we can get together on it. So I
Yeah.
agree with that. Let's figure out what we can do there. Mayor's coming to town. Mayor Town Hall.
Yeah, I wanted to get into something that you actually
Mm.
kind of just threw out, while we were talking before the show, and I feel like it was pretty profound. And wanted to dive into it as far as Brother Von Chiming talking about solidarity, and Paul and I, we were shout out to those chat chimers. I think one of the chat chimers dropped this on us, brought this to our attention as far as the city of Omaha and how they have spent ARPA funds. Again, we're still following the money. And that was one feeling I kind of felt the same as far as Brother Von Chapman, as far as solidarity. Again, we've been talking about LB 1024 and 531 really since we caught wind that it was happening, that it was coming. And I'm now understanding that there's some confusion about just the whole ARPA funds in general.
Mhm.
Some people under the impression that, when we talk about ARPA funds, we're only referring to, again, the North and South Omaha Recovery Act, and that ARPA funds are just for North and South Omaha. That's not true. That's not the case. Again, the state, the city, and the county all received their own allotment of ARPA funds. There are billions of dollars coming into this area at all three levels of government for as a result of ARPA funds. So there are many, many different programs, not just LB 1024, 531. There are many ARPA programs and many ARPA funds going out that we aren't aware of. Again, we've only been paying close attention to LB 1024, but there are millions and millions of dollars that the city alone has sent out that we haven't really talked about, and it's definitely worth having a conversation. And before we get into kind of the details of where the money has gone out, just from looking at it, my impression was, man, as a community, as North Omaha specifically, we would have benefited a lot from being solid together, having solidarity, having a solid plan, having community come together and plan like, hey, we should have these organizations go for these funds, and y'all should go for these funds, and y'all should go for these funds, and then we should all come together and figure out a way to like there could have been a more comprehensive plan. That's my feeling. And your response to that, Paul, was it's hard to do when there's no communication. So I kind of wanted you to expand on that, and then we'll actually get into the details of where the funds did ultimately go.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. That's to me what was going on here. There's got to be information put out there first. Rules of engagement. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
What we keep on coming across is when the Olson report was happening, we didn't know what the criteria was going to be. We really didn't. A lot of us didn't know. A lot of us got the information late. A lot of us didn't really collaborate when we got the information and provided some understanding, which is even the reason why this show took a turn, and we're shaping this show more about understanding some things first before we can go out there and put boots to the roots on it. But it's really tough to do, when there's a clear cut set of rules and goals and things out there that people will give you the information about how to do it. Then you can have people come together, study that, make a plan over it. It's hard to make a plan on something that's shifting and changing when they move the goalposts and everything that's happening all the time. It's really tough. And it's a tactic that they've been using for a long time to throw, especially the black community, in disarray all the time, not understanding the half the information that's out there, what's going on, and then is how do you solidify, get together with that. We do this here all the time, and we still have questions all the time. We do this 3 days a week, 2 hours a day for 3 years now, and we still always and we've been covering the ARPA fund stuff for the last 2 seasons, almost three
Mm-hmm.
seasons,
Mm-hmm.
and there's still questions. There's still something else we got to know now. We got to know now how the DED's setup is going to go, because it's a new thing that we have to kind of dig into. So
Yeah.
I think the answer is kind of, you got to start with not worrying about any of these things that are coming in, and come up with the plan to do for self. First of all, we need the solidarity needs to come with us all getting together, saying we're gonna figure these things out for ourselves. And then when stuff comes in, that's extra to our plan, we still have some resources there to be able to kind of dig in, and not just leave that money on the table too, but also just have a solid plan in the first place. And then when resources and stuff come in, then have committees that can go kind of break down what is needed, and then report that back. There needs to be a structure first that we can put together first for any time something like this happens. Then we can kind of go to our formula here, and get all the information out. Everybody understands it. Everybody we get together and put a plan together. But as you can see, even the senators talked about this. There's been ARPA funds coming out for a while. Miss Erica Felt in the chat just said it. She says the ARPA funds. Let's see, where did she say that? She said ARPA funds were some of the like the childhood, some of the childhood early
Says
childhood development centers and stuff. They received ARPA funds. Matter of fact, that money's running out, and now everybody's scared that a lot of the childhood centers and stuff are going to close up because they were dependent on some of these monies. So people like Erica Feld might have known about ARPA funds that were coming, that were different from the 531 stuff. But not a lot of people knew. Not a lot of people know that. There's, I was talking about people here in Benson area that just got wind that they can apply for certain ARPA funds and stuff like that because of not really understanding that when you say ARPA funds, you're not just talking about North and South recovery.
hmm
So again, there's, where's our, when you have an organization, you have like, where's our information? What do we call them? The Minister of Information.
hmm
Where's our departments where we can get these things broken down, understand, and then disseminate information to groups, have some organization, some solidarity, and be able to come with a plan because we are already have things organized. I mean, that to me is what's going is the only way that can happen, because you're going to be up against always having to go find out how a thing is being done here, and
hmm
also just the disarray. Like I try to keep in mind, we're gonna keep on doing this show whether or not we get any 531 money at all. We still have a plan to grow the show and to support ourselves and to get to the next level, whether or not that money comes. Some people out here are dependent on that money to do everything they're trying to do,
hmm
which is, I think, is a mistake.
Agreed.
And when you think of just those two attitudes alone, are going to make you approach things differently, and it's not going to lend to any solidarity. So how do we put something in place first is the question, because if we were going to go off of how we do it now, there's no getting some solidarity together behind 531 in the black community right now.
Oh, it's chaos,
That's chaos, bro. There's no way it's going to happen now while we're in the midst of it.
man. And that
Especially with the misinformation. There's a lot of information in general that can get misconstrued, but there's also a lot of misinformation floating around too. Like, what are you gonna do?
Man, I mean, kind of thinking about LB 1024 and 531, the only reason that we are even as aware of it as we are is because of the senators. Again, and we're going to dive into exactly how these funds were split up, but haven't really heard much from the city, who, again, got their own allotment of funds. Haven't heard much about those opportunities. So it is twofold. I definitely agree. Like, there should be some kind of, and it kind of is, but how much of us are a part of that? How many of us are familiar with the Forever North plan, what it entails?
Mm.
How many of us are, planning moves in accordance with the Forever North plan? Because apparently that's how the city is moving. That's how the city is viewing North Omaha. And I know there are people from the community that were part of the Forever North plan. I think I've seen, copies of it. But how many of us in the chat are a part of that?
Yeah. I mean, we talk about we've been doing this. We're on our 6th season right now. We got one more season before we feel a natural change to what's going on with this. And every time I think about it, I lean towards this Minister of Information type of situation. Like we gotta be able to have a system where we're drawing in the information, deciphering that, and then communicating it out to people in the ways that they can understand, and be a resource where they can go and find out exactly what's going on. and stuff like that. Like we got to have that first. We got to have that first in order for any kind of organization to happen after that. It's just like Kimmer is always talking about with neighborhood associations. You got to get to know your neighbors first and then get together and then talk about each other's needs and figure out what's going on first. And then you can expand and, bring in elected officials and have somebody look at plans and look at ways to raise money for the neighborhood association, look at ways to enhance. If you just are stuck in the chaos, we'll never get there.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about all. I mean, there's a bunch of different issues. So the organization needs to be widespread, needs to be huge. It can't just be a small group of people or a small group of organizations. It needs to be everybody involved some kind of way.
Right. And to that point, Kimra in the chat saying, Paul and Buddy, this is where direct action organizing comes in. She says, I'll be presenting that training at Culture House. Details to come. We were actually talking about that while I was in Omaha. So definitely looking forward to that presentation, Sister Kimra. And yeah, we do need it as far as organizing, coming together, joining. That's kind of the call for this season, joining your neighborhood associations, joining your neighborhood alliance, getting more active in that regard. But when you said that, it really just like struck a chord with me as far as the lack of communication.
Mhm.
And I'm right there with Malik Rogers. He's saying there's little to no consistency in communication outside of the senators. Black Omaha simply may not be capable of creating and maintaining a system of communication, but it's needed. It's needed. Also, to that point, Kimra says that she tried to get the information from Olson early on, as you mentioned. She says, I thought asking Olson for this criteria last September. I never got it.
Right. And then we find out, organizations like Spark was actually helping people with their Olson application, and that leads me to believe that they have some information on how to do that.
But we
And
didn't
that's
hear about that till after the fact.
and people, and there's chat chimers that work for Spark. So like that's what I mean. Like you know what I'm saying. Like even us that talk about all 3 times a week, 2 hours a day for months and years, are still have a bunch of questions. Still are missing certain things. And it's because like it's time to go beyond that. That's what season 6 is about. Boost to the Roots also means going beyond just the talking about it. Like we need to be gathering information and turning into some kind of resource. I don't see how anything's going to happen before that happens. That has to happen first.
Yeah, I mean, because again, to your point, like you really, really like kind of gave me a light bulb and kind of struck a chord. Like I'm always talking about, like, man, that would be awesome if the community can organize and we can come to, but it's hard to do if we don't know.
There you go. Kimber Snipe says, I still get the Star newspaper because
Okay,
earlier Malik Rogers was asking, is everything good with Omaha Star? Nothing posted on social media or podcast for a good while.
it's a good question.
The reason why I'm bringing that up is because the Omaha Star is black media. It's part of the black media landscape that we're trying to build that has been here already. That should be a source of information for a lot. I know that Terry Sanders is doing a lot by herself. She needs some help over
Mhm.
there, and people that understand that if we can say that, like to me, that's a kind of it's a new thing to say. How about we decide that first things first? We need to have a department of communication. We need to have a situation here, a department of information that we are gathering this information, we are deciphering that information, and we're making it palatable to the people in our neighborhoods to be able to understand and get with it, and then we can take that information and organize from there. And I think that if we can, I think when it was said, I don't know if the black community could do that quite yet. It's because I don't think we're thinking of it that way. Where
Mhm.
where we're saying we have a systematic. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm feeling like. I'm really feeling like after season 7, that's the direction we're gonna have to go. Like I've already start jotting down notes from stuff that goes into the chat, and writing down stuff that we start researching, and when we get to some understanding, put those points down so I can remember where staffing point was. There's all kinds of stuff that we try to do now. It must be something that we think is important and we need to kind of push
Mhm.
and hopefully get there and work with Kimra on this part. I know that in the organizing work that she's talking about, there is that gathering of information, deciphering what's going on, that is a very, very big part of that organization. It has to be. So,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
disseminating.
and disseminating. Exactly. So, yeah, appreciate you guys joining in on that too, and what everybody's saying about that. Um, I keep going back to this comment. Malik Rogers says that there's little to no consistency in communication outside of the senators. Black Omaha simply may not be capable of creating and maintaining a system of communication.
We're capable.
I
We're
don't
capable of doing anything.
capable, right? I don't think that it's been. I don't think that it's something that people have called out as a need, or we jump right to organizing, or we jump right to action, which which is because there is action happening.
Hmm.
It's just not there's no solidarity with it. We're not getting together and doing it. We're individually calling up the DED and
Man,
bombarding them with calls about you know what I'm saying? Like there's no
right.
solidarity with the action. We just jump right to action. Wanda Lewis in the chat says, "Don't forget about our county commissioners. They also receive ARPA funding for the districts they represent. What are they doing with theirs, and who can reach out to them for help?"
Yep.
I talked to Chris Rogers the last time we were in a physical space together, and that's what he was talking about. You know, there's like we got to get together. There's funds that the county has too. You know what I'm saying? There's funds that the county has too, and sometimes, you know, you got to figure out. Sometimes they won't throw money at a certain situation because the city's throwing money at a certain situation. There's like even solidarity within the black community, which we've been called upon already by some of the chat chimers to try to get together all black leaders, all elected officials, to get in the same room, senators with Brother Rogers and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
Because
Councilwoman Juanita.
right, because nobody they're not, and we ain't even meeting, not even meeting yet. They have a lot of information. Every time I talk to Chris Rogers, a lot of information about what's going on with the county and what money's there and stuff that's being done and stuff that he wants done and so on. There's a lot of information there. So again, who's gathering that? Who's putting it together? Who's making it palatable for everybody? Is there a resource that you can go to right now as a black organization and find out anything
Man.
about how to enhance your business? Vaughn Chapman says the city of Omaha agenda may not, as usual, align with the needs of North Omaha regarding their use of ARPA funds. Collaboration would be all but impossible. Kimber Snipes says neighborhood associations and alliances already have a model of communication. It just needs investment and support. Thank God for my role at One Omaha. So One Omaha, we need to look into more, and you know maybe that's part of the solution there too. And that model of communication includes decision makers at every level of government. It also includes residents.
Man, well, we might need to talk about that model a little more in detail
Yeah,
and how we
absolutely.
can support it.
Chat's going off. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, before we get too deep into it, I did want to actually get into how the city spent their funds.
Yeah, yeah.
Because going along with Brother Von Chapman again, does the agenda align? As you know, as we say here on a lot of times, a lot of votes, the city kind of speaks with their money. Where is the money going? It's very interesting when you look at it. Well, maybe let's try to get this link in the chat for everyone to look at when they get a chance, because it's quite a good list. This is dating back all the way to May of 2022. So you know we're talking about how long these funds have been around. At least over a year and a half now, going on 2 years.
Hmm.
These ARPA funds have been available. Specifically, the city has spent some of the funds on hotels. There's actually 2 hotel stimulus packages that were given out. The city invited about 68 eligible hotels to apply for funding and received 46 qualifying applications, totaling $4.5 million for expenses, including planned expansions or upgrades. So, again, about 4.5 million towards hotels.
Hmm.
Let's see.
That's a lot of baby soaps.
Right. And mints on pillows. In June of last year, Mayor Gene Stalter has also announced a second distribution of funds provided by ARPA. The city received $112 million in ARPA funds in total. The first allocation was received in May of 2021. So again, clear over 2 years that the city has been dealing with these funds, and we're just now learning about where it's going and really talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the program supports initiatives to expand affordable housing, make improvements to public spaces, and coordinate services for persons expanding homelessness or experiencing homelessness, and compensation for city employees who continued working throughout the pandemic to maintain city services. Of course, we talked about front porch investments. The city has made a commitment to create and preserve affordable housing. The support access to affordable housing for renters, home buyers, and homeowners. The city's $20 million investment will be matched by Front Porch Investments through $20 million in philanthropic contributions. The city will also apply for additional $20 million available for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, increasing the partnership and allocation of affordable housing to $60 million, making it the largest program funded with ARPA funds. So again, a lot of those funds went towards affordable housing, and we're still struggling as to define what the definition of affordable housing even is. So a lot of questions with the $60 million invested into affordable housing. Where is that actually going? Who is that actually going to? How is that being processed? A lot of questions with that situation.
Yeah. So I mean, it just keeps on bringing up the point to me. Where what I'm saying, there's so much out there. We're concentrating on one. I was just thinking about what the senators were talking about the town halls that's been going on about 1024 and 531. We've never seen as many black folks in our community come out to these meetings. We filled up the whole room out there at the Highlander building that one time when they had one of the first ones, first and second one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody heard about this. Everybody had, and the senators talk about this all the time. This stuff is happening. The senators, and when we talk about the senators, I mean Senator Justin Wayne, Senator Terrell McKinney are the only two really that's gone out and really told people what there is to out there. Try to help explain that. Try to help people get to it. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else is doing that, which is the reason why the only ones we've heard about was 1024, 531. These are the only ones that that's been on our radar because there's a couple people out there that wanted to be transparent about what they did, what happened, how this can affect our neighborhoods, and came out with some explanation. They almost regret it. They almost regret giving this much information out as they did because of all the
Yeah.
confusion and everything that everybody was confused and Black Omaha just wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? But we can't knock them for doing that because that's exactly what it is that need to be done by not just them, but everybody else. This is what we're talking about. Like we wouldn't even have known that was happening. It's like we didn't know about these other millions of dollars that come out. Somebody in the chat just said commissioners get $2 million. Where is this? Where was that
That's
at?
Kimra. She says each commissioner got about $2 million each to do what they wanted, from what I remember.
Come on, man. So I mean, we worried about if we could have been over there talking to the commissioners about how we're trying to enhance our neighborhoods with say black media and been going after funds that's sitting around there, change their swaying them on what it is they want to spend $2 million on in the neighborhoods each. So and you just broke down a bunch of stuff about where other ARPA funds went, and we still talking about ARPA funds. We're not even
Yeah.
talking about city money, county money.
Yeah, we're not even talking about the actual budget. Yeah, we're just talking about ARPA funds, and we haven't even really got into the $15 million that went out to nonprofits, or the millions and millions of dollars that went out to parks.
Millions of dollars that went out to parks. Some came to our parks. We looking at things seeing that we get the short end of the stick, and a lot of it has to do with whether or not we can ask for it, whether we know it exists, whether we get behind people that are going for it. Any of that. Again, it's a communication thing. Wanda Lewis said it's been stated that some of the funds has been spent on events as well, not just hotels and things. But yeah, I don't know if you want to continue on talking about where some of the other funds have gone.
I do think a lot of our chat chimers and audience will be interested to hear about some of the nonprofits that receive funds. Again, there's a lot of feelings about nonprofits and the fact that Omaha is such a nonprofit city,
Mm-hmm.
and there were many nonprofits. Actually, about 224, 244 applications were filed for again, nonprofits applying for the $15 million pot that the city received in partnership with the United Way of Midlands and the Omaha Community Foundation, which we have a lot of questions about as far as the Omaha Community Foundation, finding that they're in the middle of a lot of things. And they, again, were in a lot of control of this $15 million. For instance, 100 Black Men received 50,000. The AIM Institute received 154,000. Also, Boys and Girls Club received 200,000. I mean, there's quite a few. Heart Ministry Center received 200,000 for a Fresh Start program.
That's what's up. Did you know what the Omaha Community Fund is?
To my understanding, it's one of the leading organizations in the city that helps these nonprofits get funding, and it's kind of the main mechanism that the city uses to pass funds to nonprofits.
It helps nonprofits give money, foundations, and give money. So basically, what this is, before it was the Omaha Community Foundation, it was a whole nother name. It's been going on since the 70s, and basically, this organization exists because family foundations and corporate foundations and everything else that want to give money out to people found that it's easier just to hand it over to this particular organization, and this organization will give them recommendations on where they ought to donate that money. And so they've made a step in between them actually, foundations actually giving the money out to individuals and organizations. They put a step in between that is supposed to be vetting organizations and people that they're supposed to be giving recommendations on that, and then they handle those funds because it's easier to do that. I'm not surprised that I find them in the middle of a whole bunch of stuff, because especially in a philanthropy town, if we're talking about philanthropy, they're going to be in the mix of that. And so it's interesting because, when we kind of figured that out, we were like, well, who's talking to them?
Right.
And who's on that board?
Right.
And who's talking, and who on that board talks to our community?
Right.
And how our community get anything coming through? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. I mean, there's a lot of questions here. We talk about the foundations, but the foundations are going through places like Omaha Community Foundation. So what's going on there? Malik Raj says, what exactly is 100 Black Men spending money on if everybody volunteers their time?
So this is for the 50,000 that 100 Black Men of Omaha received. It says for mentoring. So I don't know how they're spending that on mentoring. Are they paying mentors? I don't know what's going on with that, but it does lay out which programs these organizations are receiving funds for.
I met the new executive director from Omaha, from 100 Black Men. Young cat, seemed to be on the ball. He was part of the program he was part of that program when he was younger. He got mentored by somebody from 100 Black Men. Now he's the head of it. I'd like to have that brother on to talk about that too, because when I was over last a couple weeks ago, I went to the Girls Inc. Gala, and was looking around like, man, like I would like to see an organization for young boys that's on this level,
man.
And the first thing when I say that to people, they say, well, what about 100 Black Men? Well, yeah, what about 100 Black Men? First of all, I don't know if there's 100 Black men in the organization in this particular chapter. So how many Black men do we have that are actually mentoring? What are the programs? When Michelle Obama comes out to speak at Girls Inc., where is Barack coming out to speak at 100 Black Men? What's going on with the programs? What's going on with all of that? I'd love to know. I'd love to see it. Jumping back into the chat real quick, McKimmer Snipes says, One Omaha does tech support for Omaha Community Foundation. So if you apply as a neighborhood group, we will help you for free. Okay, there it is. So we just asked, who in the neighborhoods are they talking to? Who's over there? Do we have any connection there? One Omaha, who Kimmer Snipes is the executive director of, is directly connected. So another source of information we need to be looking at: neighborhood funds, groups, things like that. And you can. She says you can. We will help you for free. We will help you apply and all the other stuff that you can do there. Von Chapman says, in a community that needs profit to grow and sustain, nonprofit only benefits the philanthropist. Bottom line, philanthropists have to give money out. Corporate does, family foundations do. It's something that has to happen as well. And the question is, who are they choosing to support? Who are they choosing to support? Kimber Stice, maybe the money is to pay for space and food they are using during their mentor programs, probably also to bring in different facilitators and whatnot. That's my guess for Omaha. Talking about 100 Black Men again. I've been to a few 100 Black Men galas, and I know that they raise a lot of money at that particular gala. They do auctions. I've seen like Johnny Rogers footballs get auctioned off and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they're raising funds, and then they get funds, and there's obviously somebody in that organization that applies for grants and does stuff. So good question. Kimber Snipe says my son used to participate with them for a short period, and they don't have 100 Black Men yet. I know 100 Black Men is really just a title, but who's actually there mentoring? You know, there's a lot of people that we know in our community, even Chad Chimers, even Ghost listeners that have mentored, that have done some work over there. I don't flinch when I see like 100 Black Men getting funds. I hope they get more funds and grow bigger. They need to. So, you know, so what does that actually mean? But anyway, the point is that there's all these funds, and you don't hear about them. What kills me too is you don't hear about them too much from people, because organizations sometimes keep that close to the chest
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want to compete for the crumbs that some of the foundations are given. They feel like there's only a finite amount of money out there, and if they tell you about it, then you might apply, and they might be right, because where's the solidarity? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But 100 Black Men might be doing something that a whole other organization is also doing. They're not teaming up. There's no solidarity there. Now they're just competing for the same program. Kind of stuff happens all the time. So
Yeah. And who's benefiting? Like how, or are we maximizing the benefit? I guess is the better question. And I do have a question for Kimra. She says Omaha has a lot of nonprofits because Omaha has a lot of gaps, which is something she's voiced on the show before. She says I realized that this spring when I was in El Paso, and I'm kind of curious, like, is that good in your mind? Just in your opinion, is the fact that we need so many nonprofits to fill the gaps left by the city. Is that a good thing, bad thing?
I feel like we're in Nebraska, and I feel like it's a red state, which means they want less government. They're not going to have programs and things out there that's going to create gaps. I feel like they rather have all these organizations and businesses out here to fill gaps instead of city and government filling gaps. Who feels that way? Y'all feel that way?
Okay.
What do you think about that? Should there be should there be city and government filling those gaps though?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering. And if not, then what is the point of government? What should they be doing?
All very philosophical, great questions. 3 minutes before the end of the show. I appreciate everybody that's joined into the chat. We were supposed to have an extensive Haps. We did not. Of course, that is the case. But I will go ahead and jump into that. We'll have to continue with these conversations Monday. I'm just trying to think of what stuff now. There's a more event coming up that I think is a very important thing for us to go check out. This is at Fabric Lab, 2514 North 24th Street.
The Deuce.
Oversight, transparency, accountability with a focus on racialized and low-income families and communities. This is happening Wednesday, the 27th, which is coming up. And it's at 6 o'clock. And it's, like I said, it's at Fabric Lab. Definitely check it out. This More organization I'm learning more and more about as well. And they seem to be pretty legit, doing some good stuff. So you see that they have featured speakers there from the Inspector General of Child Welfare, the Inspector General of Corrections, and also Julie Rogers, Ombudsman for Public Counsel. They got with the focus on racialized and low income families and communities is what I'm kind of focused on too. So oversight, transparency, accountability. Check them out, Fabric Lab. Shout out to Fabric Lab for putting together some good stuff too. Most def. Also, don't forget about the Black Studies Boot Camp 2.0 that's coming up. This is Kara Warner who is going to be teaching this. It's going to be from 12 to 2, beginning September 23rd, which is tomorrow. So if you want information about this, definitely register there. And you can go to the send an email to manifestedpurpose.llc@yahoo.com. There's a $20 registration fee, but this is part of a 6-week online Black Studies course that analyzes the Black experience with 5 major areas: psychology, sociology, politics, culture, and religion. Definitely check this out. Adult Black Studies Bootcamp 2.0. This is Kara Warner, who we know is part of the BAA, Black Agenda Alliance. Definitely want to support what it is that they're doing and get some knowledge and a little history and everything else and check out the weekly speakers. They have different speakers each week there, and it's 30 minutes long. So definitely check that out. Appreciate them putting that out. Always can use some. This reminds me of like the African American bookstore classes and stuff like that. Man, I miss them days.
Man,
Yeah. So shout out to them for doing that for real.
it's to get down.
Yeah. Anybody else got any haps out here that we need to be talking about? Just want to keep on putting that out there in everybody's ear for sure. You also know, of course, we're still looking for Mr. Blake. Levi Blake is still missing. He's been missing since August 17th. Older gentleman, age 80, and he's suffering from from Alzheimer's.
Dementia.
Sorry about that, dementia. I say that I keep on messing that up. And this time I do have the GoFundMe. There's still a GoFundMe out there for the family to support their efforts to keep looking for him as well. If you can't get out there yourself to look for him, then you can donate to this cause here and help them find him and keep looking around, man. Keep looking around. Last seen near 33rd and Lake, so he might still be in the area.
Man, hopefully, family members need supplies. Some have to take off work, to do the searching. So yeah, any funds could definitely help.
Yeah, appreciate that very much. This is something that's coming up here. Speaking of philanthropy and nonprofit, this is kind of the nonprofit era that's happening here at the end of the year. This is Benson Theater's first benefit. So Benson Theater, for those who don't know, is a nonprofit organization, and they support the arts. We have been open about 2 years now, and I'm trying to tell you, I didn't know there was such diversity in Omaha, and I knew about the diversity in Omaha until we opened the doors here and people started coming, trying to do the things that they're doing here. All the different communities in town are able to benefit from being able to be at this place with this beautiful, beautiful spot, state-of-the-art lights and sound, stage that they can do their thing on. You're talking about somebody who's really supporting arts in our community. It's going down the Benson Theater. So there will be a campaign coming up where you can do some donation to that. This is actually just a flyer for the benefit concert that's happening. Big band, Marcus Lewis and his big band is going to be there, so it'll be cool. But the Bonalto Ball, and this is the 100th anniversary as well. 100th anniversary of the building, the Benson Theater building. When it was built in 1923, it was called the Bonalto Theater. And so we're celebrating this 100th anniversary on top of having the inaugural benefit. And it's commemorating the 100th anniversary. So it's going down Saturday, November 11th. And I'll give you some more information on that because there are going to be some tickets available to this. But this is a ball. It's basically a gala. And so it's our inaugural event that we're putting on in order to raise funds. So it's a fundraiser. And it's, even though there'll be some entertainment there, it's basically a fundraiser. So we'll give you some more information on that as we come up on that happening soon. Man, to choose which things to take a look at. Definitely mark this on your calendar too. IB Black Girl is bringing out Angela Davis. We talked about this already. October 27th going to be coming up here pretty fast, really.
Man,
before we were looking at this, it was like it's kind of down the way. But no, October 27th is coming up.
Couple weeks,
really. Angela Davis, keynote speaker for the Reproductive Justice Summit that IB Black Girl is putting on. So shout out to them for bringing such a prestigious speaker, to North Omaha in a big way, man. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, man. While I was at the Culture House, broadcasting on Friday and Monday, I came across a poster that they have on the wall of Angela Davis coming to Omaha back in 1971. I want to say, speaking on the Ed Poindexter and that case and trying to get those brothers trying to get those brothers free. So just to think, like, she's still coming, still working, still doing it, still speaking. Please, y'all, definitely go check out this powerful speaker, this powerful sister. Especially those, our women and those who care about reproductive justice, what's going on, with the laws recently passed in Nebraska. Yeah, it's worth checking out. Out.
Also, what's worth checking out tomorrow, we definitely have Content Creators Camp Week 7 going down. We'll be back at Elevator Spaces. We definitely want to invite everybody who is in earshot of us right now. Come on through. You can still do it, even though it's week 7. It's a 12-week program. But there's going to be a lot of good individual classes coming up for the next few weeks. And tomorrow is no exception. Dr. Carol Zugner is back. She's from the Department of Computer Science, Design, and Journalism at Creighton. and she's been coming to some of the other ones too, man.
Yeah, just hanging out.
She's invested, just hanging out, and are really excited. She told me that she's very excited about what we're trying to do here, building an army of citizen journalists, and giving people that are already doing content creation some tools to be journalists and be trusted individuals in the city, trusted sources, and everything that we need to do to really kind of get this information stuff off the ground. Shout out to Flatwater Free Press, shout out to Culture House, and shout out to us, First Sky Omaha, for putting this together. Again, week 7 starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Elevator spaces. For those of you that are chat chimers that come to this, I know y'all sick of donuts, so let me know what else to bring in the morning. I know I'm sick of donuts, so a couple people was like, "We can't do the donuts, but we can do." So give me some ideas on what else to bring. Definitely bring in the coffee tomorrow, though, and we'll see what's going on. But definitely come and check out week 7. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. If you want to register for this, you can go to Friends of First Sky Omaha. It's pinned at the top. Just hit the registration button and come on through. And you'll get a email when you do that. As a matter of fact, I can put the registration link in here right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Want to hit it? Hit it now.
Tap in, tap in.
Yep. So I can't wait to hear, man. We had such a great conversation with Dr. Z last time she was in. Can't wait to talk to her again about it. But yeah, meet us over there tomorrow for that camp. It's going down.
Yeah, talking about legal considerations and ethics and things like that. Because again, we want to speak the truth, and want to be ethical about it. So
most def. One last one, man. Can't forget about the intertribal powwow that's happening September 23rd. It's happening tomorrow from 1 o'clock to 7:30 out there at the Metropolitan Community College Fort Campus. They have this every year. They've been having it for a while. 32nd annual intertribal powwow. So this is many different tribes that come from far and wide and make a big, huge powwow happen. It goes down. They're really focused on the youth. It's really great. Of course, you can get your fried bread and you got your food trucks out there. You got everything happening out there. So shout out to them for doing this again. I heard it's supposed to be a nice, cool weather outside. Might little chance of some sprinkles, but you should be good. But definitely check it out, man. One thing that really hits me every time I go to this is how many people who identify as Native. There's a lot of black folks in the camp out here too, man.
Come on, man.
Traditions all the way back.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear. I was surprised to see that, and but that's what happens when you can go to an intertribal powwow. You see people from different tribes, different areas, and that means you get all shades, bro, all kinds coming. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out tomorrow if you can. And I think I'm gonna leave it there, man. We're past time. It's already 9:07. If you believe in the concept of time, and we apologize for going past our agreement of 9. But we do need to let everybody know what's going on, and we'll put the rest of these in Friends of First Sky Omaha. And if you have any too, please let us know too.
Will do.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get out of here, buddy. Got some words for the people?
Man, as always, big shout out to everybody for tuned in. Mama God even tapping in. She says listening. And the ATL. Big shout out to everybody who is already registered and planning on coming to the Content Creators Camp tomorrow. We appreciate your support. We love you. We thank you. And, even if you're not, just take care of yourselves this weekend. Catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Definitely love you and thank you and appreciate all the support we have received. Quickly approaching season 7. So hopefully we will continue to receive that support. And yeah, man, take care of each other, take care of yourselves. And, we're going to try to get down to the bottom of it. But in the meantime, in between time, Paul B.
Yo.
Take it away.
Right on. Appreciate you, man. We're going to miss you tomorrow, Mama God. She's been part of the creator class every time, so going to miss you tomorrow. But we'll hold it down. We'll try to hold it down. Again, it's going to be at Elevator Spaces. Don't forget about that. We would love everybody to show up and bring a friend.
Yeah, man.
Pop says, another great week of shows. Awesome. Thank you for all you're doing. Have a wonderful weekend and see you all on Monday. Appreciate you, Pops. Mayor Sanchez, man, First Sky Gang. He says, have a blessed weekend, everyone. Appreciate you very much. Von Chapman said, did anyone tell Omaha Star to participate in the Content Creators Program? Yeah, we reached out to everybody. It's not, like I said, Terry Sanders over there doing a lot herself.
Yeah.
And we're trying to build out some things so that we can send reporters and people over to Omaha Star, hopefully help with providing some some support.
Yeah.
Kind of what we're here to do now. So that's what's up. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate everybody who joined us in the chat. And definitely check it out. We're going to have actually Brother Kasim and Sherman Wells on Monday, as well as the Senators. It's going to be a full day on Monday. So definitely check us out then. And there's a lot coming up happening this week. So we'll definitely talk about everything's going on. I think we're going to have Patty Talbert on Wednesday, talking about her show coming up on the 30th. And anybody else, let us know what's going on. We really appreciate everybody that does that. When we're not here live, you can go to First Sky Omaha, Friends of First Sky Omaha on Facebook. And that's where the chat continues over there. That's where all the information that we come up with and you come up with can be housed for the moment. So please continue to do that. Join that page if you have not. And also join us on here to support this channel by going to firstsky.omaha.com, hitting the donate button. If you're so inclined, become a reoccurring member of this channel so we can keep this going as well. I want to thank the Omaha Tribe Elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. I want to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, always being willing to dive deep and say what needs to be said.
Man.
And really appreciate everybody that's not holding back, but also being respectful. And we have the best chat in the world. I say that to everybody all the time. We have the best chat in the world. Nobody is doing chats like we are doing the chat. Yeah. It's actually useful information, not people just spouting off.
Trolling.
Not just trolling and being petty and everything else like most chats are. So we really appreciate you guys doing that. Please join YouTube and like and subscribe over there so we can reach our 500 people that we're trying to reach. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. We've been doing all this by word of mouth, but we're definitely going to be putting some efforts into some advertising so that we can kind of get more people to hear what's being said around here. And with that said, we're going to get out of here. So really appreciate everybody who joined us. And you take care of yourselves. We will see you again on Monday.
Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red